It's Thursday, October 3rd, and time for your Barbados Today Morning News Update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Prime Minister Mia Mottley is satisfied with her administration's progress under the year-old Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program. She acknowledged that some measures were not implemented in a timely manner, but insisted that some things would take longer than others. She spoke about the International Monetary Fund-backed program during Wednesday's Sustainable Energy Conference held at the Hilton Barbados under the theme Roadmap to 2030.
I marvel sometimes at the shortness of our memories or the unreasonableness of our perspective. We're not in an IMF program because the government chooses that this is where we want to be. In fact, yesterday was the first anniversary of our entering into the program. And we met every target. And we met every target while still trying to keep the social fabric of this country together. The things that we've not been able to deal with are things that are part and parcel of the process of time. The digitization of the Barbadian public service doesn't happen overnight. It's not an abracadabra moment, as I keep saying. We had the launch of the Easy Pay services a week or two ago, and that took months for us to get there. We're now trying to digitize other services across the entire government so that within 2 years, as I indicated, Barbadians will have a hassle-free environment within which to function to access services in government.
Ambitious but doable. That's how key observers are describing government's push towards making Barbados into a green energy nation within the next decade. The observers also welcomed Prime Minister Mia Mottley's announcement to increase the limits set out under the new feed-in tariff arrangements outlined by the Fair Trading Commission. Vice President of the Barbados Renewable Energy Association, Aidan Rogers, told Barbados Today he is in full support of the plan.
Right now, the recent decision by the FTC would have indicated that we've now moved to a capacity limit of 1 megawatt. There's still a lot of interest by persons who are seeking to have systems installed above 1 megawatt. And that is something I think the Prime Minister is pretty much hinting at that we need to see more of, because that's some of the larger capacity. Obviously, with that larger capacity, there's some more technical work that would have to be looked at. There's also some more work that will have to be looked at in terms of the arrangements with the Barbados Light and Power Company, because as you increase in power supply, you also increase in terms of your responsibility to the obligation for the utility company to maintain a safe and reliable system.
Businessman Ralph Busy Williams also welcomed the push to have the island fully powered by renewable energy sources.
Of course it's doable if everybody gets on board, but there are a lot of naysayers in Barbados. We just got to get them on board. I've been talking about this for a long time. So it's what we have to do is to persuade the blockers to stop blocking and to actually accept the message that the government is giving and that we are giving, and work towards the solution. It is doable.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Bishop Joseph Avali described the plan as ambitious, adding it would require an aggressive approach. He also called for the bureaucracy in government to be removed if the roadmap is to become a reality.
Obviously, the change is desirable. Barbados spends a lot of money on import of energy. That's one of the significant cost drivers in business in Barbados, the cost of energy. Environmental concerns are also significant. So if we can make that transition to the renewable energies, of course. But the timelines are ambitious. We'll take for a really aggressive approach. The government has signaled the intention to be aggressive in its approach, but the government can't get there on its own. Private sector needs to be very much involved in that. The dominant private entity involved in providing energy, of course, in electricity, needs to be fully on board in that. The bureaucracy needs to be more functional in terms of facilitating that aggressive approach.
Nothing but a rumor. That's how President of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Mary Redmond, is describing talks making the rounds that she will be the island's next Chief Education Officer. Speaking to Barbados Today, Redmond said several persons had contacted her inquiring as to whether she had been offered the post. However, the union president revealed she had neither been contacted nor offered the post, and as far as she was aware, Karen Bess was still the Chief Education Officer. She said the rumors started after a circular stating that Bess would be on vacation until the end of the year was released. Sports now. Batting legend Desmond Haynes and former head coach Phil Simmons lead the race to be the next full-time head coach of the West Indies men team, with current interim coach Floyd Reefer also making the shortlist. On Wednesday, Cricket West Indies disclosed that Haynes, Reefer and Simmons emerged from a list of 6 candidates who took part in the initial interview, which came to a close on Monday. The final round of interviews will be completed by October 11.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, the Bahamian government tables amendments to the Disaster Preparedness and Response Bill 1 month after Hurricane Dorian ripped through Abaco and Grand Bahama. More in this report from ZNS News.
The impact of Hurricane Dorian dominated proceedings in the House of Assembly Wednesday, 1 month after the severe storm significantly damaged Grand Bahama and Abaco. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, delivered a communication on the national recovery and restoration process.
What is also urgently needed during the ongoing recovery and reconstruction phases is quick access to critical funds by the government of the Bahamas.
And since Hurricane Dorian left the Bahamas, those funds have skyrocketed. The Prime Minister announced that as of September 30th, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has received $5,159,007.52, which does not include pledges.
And finally, an airport near Hartford, Connecticut, was closed for several hours after a World War II-era B-17 bomber trying to make an emergency landing crashed and burned, killing 7 people on board. We get more in this report from Reuters Television.
Shortly before 10 a.m. Eastern Time Wednesday, a World War II vintage airplane crashed at Bradley International Airport near Hartford, Connecticut, killing an undetermined number of people and injuring many others. The executive director of the Connecticut Airport Authority, Kevin Dillon, has more.
We had a B-17, that's a vintage World War II aircraft that's operated by the Collins Foundation, took off on runway 6 at approximately 9:45 this morning. At about 9:50, 5 minutes into the flight, the aircraft indicated to the tower that they were experiencing some type of problem. The aircraft attempted to return to the runway. It circled around the airport. But unfortunately, upon touchdown, the aircraft obviously lost control.
There was a plume of thick black smoke seen billowing skywards after the crash. State Police Commissioner James Rovella.
There were 13 folks confirmed on that airplane. 10 were passengers, 3 were crew members. There was also, during the crash, at least 1 person, civilian, on the ground in the maintenance facility. So we are trying to determine exactly who they are and trying to reunite their victims' families with their loved ones.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. To have a wonderful day.